Hey, I got some things I'm working on again. This Banshee that, if you watch any of my other videos, I rebuilt, I think about a year ago or so. I blew, looks like I've blown the right cylinder. It's got no compression on the right side. So I already got all the plastics taken off, and I got the head taken off. So underneath, we got this, and the piston looks pretty good. Both the pistons look pretty good, actually. Although that one here, if I crank it over, has like a bit more carbon on the top. Now the funny thing is, this one has more wobble too. I don't know if you can see that little bit of wobble, but the other one doesn't wobble at all, but it had no compression. So I still got to take these cylinders off and find out what's wrong. Where's top dead center there? There. I guess there is a little bit of wobble. It seems like the other one had more. So I'm hoping that the skirts haven't blown up like these other two. There. See the skirts blowing off those? That's what's happened. Those were both off the left, but yeah, once I get that cylinder off, I'll see how that looks. And so yeah, hopefully I can just get by with just doing the top end on this, because I just had it totally, I just totally rebuilt it like a year ago, and I really don't want anything to be down in that crankshaft and then have to pull the bottom end too. So I still have to take the carbs off, the air box. See, we've got a K&N in there. Oh yeah, another big problem that we had here, which is probably the reason the cylinder blew in the first place, is where's this hose? You see this hose right here that connects the two carbs? That was off somehow, and the only way I can see that being off is I had it rejetted, and maybe when it was rejetted, they twisted out one of the carbs and never put the hose back on. So I think it was eating sand, and that's probably what did in that piston. And you can see. Maybe not in this light, but you can see there's some like you can see the piston was hitting like right there where my finger is on the top of the exhaust port there. There's like some wear. So yeah, hopefully just rings in a piston. But I may have to get that. These things are bored right out to 66.5, so that's there's no more cuts left in them. So, and they're ported, so I might have to get it re-sleeved. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna pull these cylinders off and take like Bondi is usually the guy that I use to do my engine work. So I'll definitely be taking that right one into him. I'll actually probably be taking both of them into him. And see what he can get me for pistons too. So I got good news. I got these, got the carbs off, as you can see here, and underneath there, this is my good news. You can see the skirt on that piston on the right is still there, and on the left is also still there. So it looks like the pistons are intact. Hopefully it's just rings, and or maybe worst case I have to get this cylinder looks. See, there's scoring. More scoring on that piston than on the left one. So maybe I have to get a new sleeve on the right one, or maybe both. I don't know, but I'm going to take these jugs off and keep them to Bondi, and he can tell me that. Or they can tell me that. So there she is, pretty stripped down, just a top end job. So only a couple $100, hopefully. So I got these cylinders off, and you can see there's this is the one that had no compression. The bottom ring is like totally worn off, and it was hitting the cylinder there, and also over here on this side you can't really see, but and then the other one looks in pretty good shape, but it was time. The one mistake I made on this was I never put an hour meter on it, so I don't totally know how much time was on those pistons, but I think it was like 30-40 hours. So this is the cylinder, I think. Which way does that go? That way? No, that's the other one. This one's still in pretty good shape, but This other one I might have to have relined. I'll take it to Bondi and see. You can see down in here. Let's see if I can get the angle, but they're scoring right there by the intake port. I think it's an intake port or transfer port, and then there between that exhaust port and that transfer port. So these were on their last cut already, and they may have to be relined, and kind of sucks because they are ported. But yeah, maybe I also like to see if Bondi can touch up those that part there in the transfer ports, because that somebody took the edge off a bit, but it still looks pretty crappy. Yeah, so I'll take these things in and see what they say. But the good news is for sure that I don't have to tear apart the bottom end. So I got these pistons out here, and help a little rattler there. And here's what blew it. As you see right here, the rings are worn right through, and a bit on the other side. So probably if I had an hour meter on it, that wouldn't have happened, hopefully, because I think these were over 30 hours on them. And here's the other good one. You can see it's all nice a little around the side. There's a little bit of scoring there on the skirt, but this one went first definitely. And it was starting to get hot, and you see the heat mark on the top of the piston there, but this one doesn't really have that. So there we go. The mystery of why the Banshee blew is solved. And I'm going to get Bondi to either... I got another set of jugs, so I'm either going to bore out the other set, or I'll see what Bondi thinks is best, or re-sleeve the ones that I was running that are, because they're ported, or just get them to maybe port the other ones. But yeah, so it only took me about 4 hours to tear it down, so while watching my daughter half the time, so we'll get her back together and running soon. So I wanted to just kind of change the focus of this video. The beginning of it, or most of it, is all about what was wrong with it and why it blew up. But so the quad's been back together. I ran it. I think I got 4 hours on the hour meter now on it. And the massive difference in the porting between the porting and the jetting that Bondi did, it's incredible. It's a totally different quad. It was like, I don't know, the first while that I ran it, the only word that came to mind was like violent. But yeah, a professional port job versus the amateur one that, you know, I could have done with a Dremel or whatever is insane. And Bondi is mostly known for doing dirt bike engines, but he definitely knows what he's doing with the Banshee too, and his port recommendation, or his jetting recommendations, have made a massive difference. Like the band all the way through. Before, it only had power on the top end, like when you were really on the pipe, and now it has power like all the way through. Like I would, in the fall, I got on it just for a quick second and hit the throttle, and it wheelied up on me and kind of scared the crap out of me. And it never would have done that before, because you really had to get on the pipe to get it into that power. So yeah, there's a massive difference if you know what you're doing with porting versus like a kind of amateur trail port, and the pro one that Bondi did. I was blown away by the difference. And I went down in displacement. Like it went from what was it, 66.5 pistons to 65.5 on the ones that I have on it now, but it's incredibly more powerful now. So if you're good at porting, or you know somebody that is, it's definitely worth it. It's not cheap to get somebody who's good with porting to port your cylinders, but it's definitely well worth it. More so than going up in displacement. These are both stock cylinders, so it's not like it was like a club kit or cub kit or anything like that. But yeah, I just wanted to say a bunch about porting because that's where I've learned the most on this rebuild. So if you want to build a trail quad, get a good port job and use stock cylinders.